Well, good morning, everyone. It is time to rise and shine because it is one more day that you're on top of the ground and the ground's not on top of you. I'd say that's a pretty good place to be. Now, before you do anything whatsoever, thank the good Lord for being here one more day because somebody went to bed last night and didn't wake up this morning. So count yourself among the living. You got the wake up call. Good morning to you. I'm Kevin Elkins, and this is Decisions because everything we do requires us to make one. And even if you don't make one, well, you just made one.
We change the world and history right here where we're from. It's no beginning to you and me, cause we're not done. In our city, in our city, in our city, we're not done. I appreciate that.
And good morning once again. It is time to rise and shine this morning. Don't forget, coming up 8:30, we have Lacey Love, probate judge, will be showing up in our virtual studio. We're going to talk to him about a couple of things that are important. No, we're not going to talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C. Terry Sewell didn't have much today. She was headed back to Washington, so she made a little video. We'll share that with you too in a little bit there. And I don't even like Terry Sewell. Not even a little bit. She's so immersed into that Democratic crap until she won't even. Never mind. We're going to leave that alone. Anyway, good morning to you. I'm Kevin Elkins. It's time for our daily bread. A word from on high. But first of all, let me tell you about one of our sponsors today. It is One Stop Wireless at 334-320-2988. It's located 3445 Atlanta Highway, right next to a gas station right there, right on the corner of Coliseum and Atlanta Highway. You can't miss it. Some of the greatest phones deals in Montgomery. She could even take your telephone, the one you got already, that you got in the drawer, you've been hanging there because you didn't pay the bill. They can get it turned back on for you and use it. No sense in letting it sit there. Use the phone. Okay, they can take care of that for you. They give them a call, 334-320-2988. They even have a deal where you can get wireless, even if you live out in the boondocks, like Hangville, someplace like that. You can get it wireless internet in the house. Okay, so but give them a call. They give you all the particulars of that. And again, that number is 320-2988. 320-2988. Of course, the area code is 334. Next up, of course, it is our Daily Bread, a word from on high, something that will change your perspective or at least give you a new one. Either way, it's good for the soul. Good morning. It is a great day, a fantastic day to be alive.
Thankful for life and the love we share. Thank you, Lord, for the journey we take.
Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. 1 John 4:7. Welcome to today's encouragement from Our Daily Bread. Our reading is titled Loving the Stranger, and it was written by Patricia Rabin. After a member of my family converted to a different religion, Christian friends urged me to convince her to return to Jesus. I found myself first seeking to love my family member as Christ would, including in public places where some people frowned at her foreign-looking clothes. Others even made rude comments. "Go home," one man yelled at her from his truck, not knowing or apparently caring that she already is home. Moses taught a much kinder way to act toward people whose dress or beliefs feel different. Teaching laws of justice and mercy, Moses instructed the children of Israel in Exodus 23, "Do not oppress a foreigner. You yourselves know how it feels to be foreigners, because you were foreigners in Egypt." The edict expresses God's concern for all strangers, people vulnerable to bias and abuse, and it is repeated in Exodus 22:21 and Leviticus 19:33. Therefore, when I spend time with my family member at a restaurant, in a park, taking a walk together, or sitting and talking with her on my front porch, I seek first to show her the same kindness and respect that I would want to experience. It's one of the best ways to remind her of the sweet love of Jesus, not by shaming her for rejecting him, but by loving her as he loves all of us with amazing grace. Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from Exodus chapter 23, verses 1 through 9. Do not spread false reports. Do not help a guilty person by being a malicious witness. Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. When you give testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert justice by siding with the crowd, and do not show favoritism to a poor person in a lawsuit. If you come across your enemy's ox or donkey wandering off, be sure to return it. If you see the donkey of someone who hates you fallen down under its load, do not leave it there. Be sure you help them with it. Do not deny justice to your poor people in their lawsuits. Have nothing to do with a false charge, and do not put an innocent or honest person to death, for I will not acquit the guilty. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds those who see and twists the words of the innocent. Do not oppress a foreigner. You yourselves know how it feels to be foreigners, because you were foreigners in Egypt. Let's pray together. Lord God, we are so thankful that you demonstrated to us what it truly means to love our neighbor as ourselves. Far too often we are critical and judgmental of others who don't look like us, talk like us, dress like us, or even believe like us. Help us, Lord, to love others with a love that others will want to imitate. Continue to shower us with your grace as we grow to love others more and more every day. Oh, thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries.
Okay, now next up, of course, it is put my thing on here. Next up, of course, is now I told people last Friday I went to McMillan School, and I don't know what grade they go. It's not a high school though, but it is called McMillan. Anyway, it's got a long name. Okay, it's McMillan. It's somebody tell me what their name is. It's McMillan. Anyway, it's got a long name. Okay, got a long name. Wait, hold on, I got it right here. It's hold on. Let me get school now. Salute to our armed forces. And then today is going to be sung by our own, like it has been all week. McMillan International Academy for Humanities, Communications, and Technology, and they're located right here in Montgomery, Alabama. My granddaughter, as a matter of fact, is part of that school. And Friday, they gave an appreciation for the veterans, a bunch of folks out there, and they did the salute to the armed forces. So this morning, like you will hear from now on, it's going to be the kids out there, our own people. I didn't have to go anyplace else to get this. They just did it for me the other day when I was out. They didn't know I was there. They didn't care, but they did an outstanding job. And so now this morning we are going to let them salute our armed forces: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Space Force. Okay, so hang loose. We're gonna get it right. So enjoy this from some of our own people right here in Montgomery, Alabama. Your kids out there are doing an outstanding job. Nice to say that. We'll be back. I'll get out the window. Where would we be without the United States Air Force? My bad. That's Coast Guard. righty then. All right, that kind of motivates me. You got your own kids in Montgomery, Alabama, saluting our veterans here, and we got a town full of them, as a matter of fact. Um, I know some of you don't know this, but the Air Force is still part of the military. I mean, they get to fly the airplanes and wear fly the shiny things, and they don't really go to the woods like real soldiers, but they are still part of the Air Force, kind of like Space Force. I haven't exactly figured out what Space Force has done yet, what they do, but I imagine they're looking out in space. I'm thinking that's what they're doing. That's we're paying them to watch the skies, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what they do, but okay then. We're good. We're good. I mean, I just I don't know. I mean, my son went down to join the Air Force, but the Air Force told him that the United States Army has more technological jobs than the Air Force does, and that kind of surprised me because that's what we went down and let him do because that's what he wanted to do. I'm going to join the Air Force. Of course, then he got down there and they couldn't satisfy his desires for his job, so he took the Army. Now, I'm gonna be honest here, intellectually honest. I kind of wanted him to join the Air Force. The Army is a hard life. Okay, I mean, depending on what you do, you sleep out in the woods in the winter, you sleep out in the woods in the summer, you get bugs all on you. You just I slept on the trucks and trees and oh. And Lord have mercy, overseas it's a tough way to go sometimes. Even in Hawaii, it was tough because I had to go to the water. I had to get on the water a lot over there. I wasn't too crazy about all that water to begin with. But anyway, so much for that. But he decided that on the Army, and he's going to school now for a what's he going to school for? Network administrator, engineer, computer something. I don't know what they're doing out there, but I know it's at Fort Gordon, Georgia. That's what I think they still teach communicate. I guess commo there, radio operation and stuff like that. But anyway, only thing I remember about a radio, there was a Prick 77, and that's real old. You can tell how old you are by the things that you're familiar with. You can't. Back in the day. But anyway, good morning to you. Hope this day finds you well. Now, this morning, I have something that I want to share with you guys because I was going through the paper last night, and like I normally do, and I go through the paper, and I came across a letter, um, I came across a editorial by none other than Anthony Brock. Anthony Brock is the head man at Valiant Cross Academy. It's an outstanding school. You can tell those kids any place in town they happen to be, and they're always an example of character and always an example of just good upbringing. Okay, and these are the same kids from the same neighborhoods that people who go to our other school. These are the same that they didn't bus in kids from a pristine neighborhood. Say, hey, come on to Valiant Cross. No. They took the same kids to go to the rest of our schools too. And I want to share this with you this morning and let you guys know if you agree or disagree. I totally agree with 90% of it. I do. I mean, he's a good guy. And so I'm gonna now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have my I don't sometimes when I read I kind of get discombobulated. So but I'm going to try to do this in a manner that is befitting the great man that Anthony Brock is. So I'm trying not to. I'm gonna try real hard to to do this the right way. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So let me try this, and then we'll talk about it. In a complex urban environment, competing narratives compete for public attention. In Montgomery, a prevalent discourse often centers on the city's perceived shortcomings. Our youth are going astray. our parenting structures are failing, and our community fabric is fraying. This narrative, while rooted in genuine challenges, okay, we must confront, okay? It presents a dangerously incomplete picture. It fosters climate of cynicism that can obscure the profound transformative work unfolding across our city every day. The critical question we must ask ourselves is, whose report do we choose to believe? Do we subscribe to the narrative or decline? Or do we acknowledge the evidence of renewal and resolve? It is easy to be a spectator, to stand on the sidelines and decry the problems. It is far more difficult to contribute to the solutions. From my vantage point as an educator and community member, I see a city not defined only by its struggles, but by the people who respond. This response is not a single monolithic effort, but a rich tapestry woven from the threads of countless organizations, initiatives, and dedicated individuals. At Valiant Cross Academy, where I serve as a co-founder and head of school, our mission is built on this principle of active engagement. We are committed to educating Black boys through a pedagogy of love and high expectation. Oh, that's a good one right there. We need to come back to that one. A pedagogy of love and high expectation. We believe that by creating an environment of rigorous academic standards, unwavering support, and deep-seated faith, we can cultivate a generation of scholars, leaders, and compassionate men. Our work is a direct counter-narrative to the idea that certain demographics are destined for failure. We witness daily the extraordinary potential that is unlocked when young men are seen, valued, and here's one, challenged. The philosophy, I love it. I can't take any, can't take any calls right now, Okay. Now, I can't take any calls at the moment. Hello?
Oh, yeah, you're talking.
Yes, I was. I'm
Okay,
so
so you're not taking any calls from compassionate men.
well, until I
Right.
finish his thing here. Then we're gonna talk about it.
Okay,
Then we're gonna talk about it. Okay.
okay.
All right. This is one of the best. This is one of the best editorials I think I've ever read. Because normally I don't read them. And so let me read the last list, and then we're going to get it. Our work is a direct counter narrative to the idea that certain demographics are destined for failure. We witness daily the extraordinary potential that is unlocked when young men are seen, valued, and challenged. Love that word, challenge. The philosophy of empowerment extends far beyond our school walls. Consider the youth navigation program in West Montgomery, which I didn't know anything about this one. A critical intervention that provides a structured, supportive after school environment. This is not mere child care. It is a strategic effort to empower youth in marginalized communities. Now, that's the only word last night that I seen in this that kind of bothered me, and we can talk about that later on. But other than that, everything else is great. And marginalized communities by equipping them with the tools to navigate academic and social landscapes. Similarly, That's My Child, a foundation born from a vision to offer positive alternatives to street life, exemplifies a holistic approach through mentorship in the arts, workforce development, and entrepreneurship, including the establishment of a teen operated restaurant. It incorporates skill building and character development, fostering a sense of agency and purpose. The creative and spiritual dimensions of our youth are also being nurtured. The Flatline movement utilizes the powerful medium of music, staging electrifying concerts and youth events that inspire and unify. Their outreach into the prisons further demonstrates a commitment to redemption and connection. Reaching those society often forgets. This work complements the city's own investments, such as the Montgomery Forward Initiative, which directs resources toward revitalizing community hubs like the Sheridan Heights, Crump, and Chisholm Centers. These are not just building renovations, they are strategic investments in the social infrastructure that supports community well being. Mentorship is also a recurring theme in Montgomery's story of progress. Organizations like Young Men on a Mission and Tie and Dolls provide invaluable guidance, empowering young men and women through community service, educational support, and modeling a positive adulthood. The visible presence of Omega Sparks at nearly every community event is a testament, and I've talked to some of those kids too, great kids, uh, to their focus on servant leadership, demonstrating for our youth what it means to be active, contributing citizens. Our formal institutions are also undergoing a renaissance. That's a word you don't hear much also. Under the new leadership of Superintendent Dr. Zacchaeus Bird, Montgomery Public School is infused with a new energy, and I can see that actually. The system is filled with incredible innovation and dedication that invite public engagement. I urge you to visit a local school, donate your time or resources, and witness firsthand the remarkable work being done. Our private and charter schools likewise enrich the educational landscape, offering diverse options for families seeking tailored learning environment. The community's foundational pillars, our churches, colleges, and civic services, are actively reinforcing this support structure. Churches like St. Paul AME and many others are taking a leading role developing tutoring programs and after school care to support working families. This tries to build trust through community engagement and initiatives that go beyond traditional law enforcement. Alabama State University has powerfully articulated its civic mission by coining the phrase "Come University," signaling a deep and symbolic relationship with the city it calls home. The ecosystem of support addresses a wide spectrum of needs. The Beacon Center serves as a vital hub, offering essential services like food, healthcare, and workforce development to those facing instability. For our creative souls, the King's Canvas provides space and resources for underexposed artists, enriching our cultural life. For others, the Brentwood Children's Home offers safe and therapeutic environments, while West End Boys Club and Boys and Girls Clubs of the River Region provide enriching, safe, enriching after-school programs for thousands. The YMCA of Greater Montgomery promotes physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Change nonprofit focus on the holistic growth of underprivileged families, and the Fortitude Leadership Academy builds essential life skills and personal competencies. Competencies. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. These organizations and countless others, weaving a stronger, more resilient social fabric, they present a collective belief in the potential of our city and its people. Yes, it is like most cities, we have problems. We have issues with crime, poverty, and educational disparities. Acknowledging these truths is not pessimism, which is what I said before. It is the necessary first step toward progress. However, to fixate on them to the exclusion of all else is to believe a false report. The narrative of negativity is often loudest from those who observe from a distance. The report of hope, progress, and relentless effort comes from those who are doing the work. They are the ones who see the light because they are the ones lighting the lamps. Ooh, that's pretty good. So I say again, whose report will you believe? Is your glass half empty or is it half full? So I contend that it is neither. Our glass is being actively filled by the hands of teachers, mentors, artists, pastors, volunteers, and public servants. The most productive question is not how much is in the glass, but how you will help to fill it. It says, I encourage you to step away from the sidelines, get involved, support a program, mentor a child, learn about the awesomeness unfolding in our city. Believe in the report of those who are building a better Montgomery and join them in their work. Dr. Anthony Brock is co-founder and head of the school at Valiant Cross Academy in Montgomery. And that is what he written in the newspaper the other day. And listen, I listen. He talking a little bit about me on there too, because and I realized that when we look in the newspaper, all we ever hear, like the other day, somebody got shot, somebody died, and those things are important to recognize also. But it's nice to know that he is. Well, he's trying his best at getting something else done and doing something else. And Valiant Cross is a beacon. He reminds me of that that famous scene that says he's Ronald Reagan. That said the beacon on the hill. And I tried to do my part. In helping some of those kids, and you did too. As a matter of fact, a lot of you folks helped me for years give those kids technology in their homes, the ones who could not afford it. A lot of people did. So this is, of course, is not for everybody, but maybe we needed a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe I almost got to the point where I said, you know, like what's his name says. He says, "Not my monkey, not my circus." You know. But I will admit, after reading this thing last, I was somewhat encouraged by what he had written. The written word is a powerful thing. It allows you, unlike rap songs, it allows you to meditate on what you read, and if it makes if there's a logical, realistic presentation of the facts that he gave. And there is. As a matter of fact, I heard when I read this yesterday, I didn't really know we had all these. So I know about Jackson My Dog by Charles. Charles, I can't think of his name, but anyway, he's the guy that and I've been over there a couple of times, and it's a great place to be. So Charles, the dog man dog, you know, he started his little thing downtown selling hot dogs to fund his program, and so they do a great job also. But anyway, I thought that it was an interesting. And I don't normally read the editorial pages because most of the time there's always political, and I don't really care about reading your view. I got my own. But every once in a while, you know, people can give you. You can find a nugget of gold inside a mountain, and I think Valiant Cross has been a I mean, it has been it probably is one of the most valuable things that Montgomery has right now. You know, it gives hope to our kids. But what I liked about, and here's what I like about Valiant Cross, and at some point, you know, we are, and especially public school, and I think Dr. Zacchaeus Byrd, I think, is doing a pretty good job too. Forget all this, make excuses for the things that we do, challenge them. I think one of the problems we have with our young people today, we don't challenge them. We just don't. We make excuses in school sometimes. We did. I don't know how it's going now, but Dr. Byrd, I think, is an interesting man, and I think he is going to. I know we got a couple of people on the school board that are tough. My school board member is tough. She wants to challenge Dr. Keith, and there's also Pam Portis. I think she's a pretty reasonable person too on the board. So I tell you, it's maybe there is light at the end of the tunnel, you know, and maybe we should spend more time looking for it rather than maybe it is half full. But time will tell. But I thought what he wrote, what he took the time to certainly cogitate on and write, I thought it was absolutely stupendous, absolutely great. Now the question is, we got two sides of the coin here. Which side of the coins do you want to do? Let me see if I can get this. Da, 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 da. Okay. I don't know what happened to my my phone thing here. Okay. B, are you?
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mhm.
So you taking up all of our time. Didn't you say that you having a guest at 8 o'clock?
8:30.
8:30.
Yes.
But you gave us the background on that. You read it.
Yeah.
I guess verbatim. I'm not looking at it.
It was verbatim.
But as I remind you, that I'm not being critical of Valiant Cross, but the one thing I always ask you, what evidence do you have to make those comments about? You're implying that academically they're doing well. What data have you seen that proves that? Are you just blowing smoke? I'm gonna be like, duh.
I understand. First of all, the the first indication that you are being well trained is the way you act in public. It is a great indication. I have never seen a child wearing Valiant Cross regalia that it was not acting like an absolute proper individual. I've never seen it since they've been in. It took them a year, and every time
I hear positive things about that, Kevin. I understand they've attacked that. I'm talking about academically.
Well, you can't get to academics until you change the attitude.
Okay, how many years have they been Valiant Cross since they left St. Jude?
Oh, I don't know. It's been a few years.
Okay, so you need to know what you're talking about. That's what I'm asking.
I know what I see.
What evidence do you have? Whatever you talk about their conduct.
Yeah,
and you're a big person on conduct. I am too.
Yeah, that's half the battle.
Okay, they have addressed those concerns.
Yes,
that's one facet of it. Okay, academically, and for you to keep saying the same thing every year, and I just sit up and roll my eyes like he doesn't know what he's talking about. I would challenge you to go over to that school and get the scores of the kids when they first started. That's how you get it, and then see how far they got when leaving that school.
Well,
I challenge you to do that, and don't hang up because I have something else to address. But I talk real fast. Do you disagree? Okay, because remember, you didn't believe what I was saying. You thought I was just trying to create problems. I knew what was going on in MPS. You didn't know it. You was like, you always talking, you always complaining, blah, blah, blah. Until your son had an opportunity to go to Lee and attend a public school. Then I made a believer out of you, but you wouldn't admit it. But it was the things that you said that you clearly understand the situations that a student has to be surrounded by all these different personalities, and they're like in a zoo. The administrators, the teachers are afraid to administer disciplinary actions in the correct way. There's a certain steps that you have to take. You don't just send the child's name over to the DA's office.
Well, I do know that my biggest concern was attitude and order in the school. So that because you can't teach anybody anything unless you have order. And I will say that Dr. Z, I call him Dr. Z, but he is I think is making a positive difference in this.
Okay, when is he coming back on the show?
Oh, I don't know. I can call him up and get him anytime.
Okay, call. We need to come in real soon. We need him to come in real soon. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
we haven't talked to him in a while.
No,
in a while.
No, we haven't. But we.
Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about, just give me some time. Oronde Mitchell. I was applauding him, and in a minute, and in the midst of my applauding, I just stopped. Now, he gave that testimonial, but he didn't give glory to God. He was saying how man treated him, how he had the opportunity. The only reason he brought that up is because if people didn't know, it was going to be out there what happened years ago. He go into details. All he said were the opportunities that man gave him. That wasn't man, Oronde. That was God, and you failed to mention God, and you didn't even mention his name when you talked about it in the work session and when you talked about it during the regular meeting. So I was really happy. And then I know the reason that Pruitt voted. He voted for it, right?
Yeah, all I know is yeah.
Okay, you don't know what happened.
No, I don't know. I got the
okay.
word.
Well, I'm telling you, I believe he did, and I know the reason why he did that. But he has a conscience. I know he has a conscience. He needs to stop doing the things that he's doing just to get along. Okay, he was intervening something before it came out. Okay, so people have ulterior motives for doing what they did, but I've never seen him fight for his constituents the way he was fighting last night for boys.
Well, again,
But my main thing, all right, is that you didn't give it glory to your heavenly Father. They provided you the opportunity for your father to know the right people, because I heard that he was a good man. He is a good man. And so he had the connections to do that. Everybody doesn't have that. That's how you originally got the opportunity. So everybody doesn't have access to the things that your family had access to address those problems that their children encountered. And that's all I have to say.
All right, I appreciate it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions and things of that nature. I guess. And as far as whether or not Valiant Crawls that academically is on par with everybody else, I couldn't see how they couldn't be. To me, it's about order. If you don't have order, there's no learning going on. Okay, we become a babysitting organization in public school. Without order, we have to keep people in school for a certain amount of days, no matter how crazy they are or whatever the things they do. I do believe that Dr. Z, Bird, is actually making a difference in our schools. So, and when I say that, that's what I went through 4 years of just stuff. But I will admit to you, when I go over there now, because I still have to do business with the school periodically because of Z, it's a better environment. Okay, now I don't stay there all day long, so I don't know. I'm only there for a little bit. But used to be nice to go over there. They were just raising all kind of hell in the. Sorry about that. In the hallways and stuff like that. So I'm seeing some increments of improvement. Because I'm not. I mean, listen, I don't work for the city. I don't work for the school system. Never have, never will. But you got to give credit where credit is due. And and I believe, and I don't know what the I don't know what the academic situation is at Valiant Cross, but I can tell you one thing. He now somebody sent me a text that just messed up my mind right quick. But all I know is that he's making a difference in our school. And the thing about it is that no matter what anybody does, I mean, it reminds me of the story: 2 guys going across a pond in a boat, and Jesus Christ walking on the water, and they complaining that he can't get in the boat with them. Okay, rather than seeing the magic, rather than seeing the greatness of God and the greatness of Jesus walking on water, we worried about our own selves, about how come he can't ride in the boat with us. So listen, we just gonna leave that. We just gonna leave that alone. I just thought it was an outstanding. It was an outstanding thing that he wrote. And it changed my attitude about some things. I didn't realize all these organizations were still around here. You don't really hear much about them. But and I know Charles the Dog Man. I know him. Yeah, he's a great thing. The state just issued its report card. A good time to have Dr. Z come on and discuss our progress. Okay, I'll get him on and see what he says. Yeah, because I don't know what the report card says. You tried to build up the community and something positive. It takes your own people tearing you down. Anything positive. Anyway, whatever. One thing about it, human beings will always have differences. What a powerful message of our daily bread, and it was today. And the thing about our daily bread today was the stranger. But my issue with welcoming the stranger, it is, and we talk about this tomorrow with my preacher friends. What if that stranger wants to come in and try to change what you believe? Not just come here and believe as they believe, but come here and try to change what you believe at the point of a gun. So is that the stranger that the Bible was talking about? I don't know. We got people that come to America who have a right to believe what they want to believe. But if you don't believe it, they want to bring harm to you. And so I think that's a conversation all in itself. That's a conversation all in itself. If they bring things that is inconsistent with what we believe that we can believe, and America's on the precipice of being the greatest country there's ever been, or a memory, or a memory at some point. We got some cogitating to do about everybody. I mean, after all, one of the reasons the Bible's got many different groups in it. The Levites, the Hittites, they got all kinds of people, and they all evidently didn't get along. Now, somebody wants to come to America and they want to practice their religion, as long as it's not against our basic cultural tenets, have at it. Go for it. If you want to, put chickens in the front yard and chop the head off and do all kinds of things with them. I mean, we do it anyway. We kill the chicken anyway, but we got a farm, we got a place to do that. But I don't know. I don't know. There's got to be more to that statement than welcome the stranger. It depends on how strange that stranger is. I would believe that it depends on how strange is he. Well, okay, I don't know. But Kevin, if God has been, what it says, if God has been good to you and your family, let me see you wave both hands in the air. It doesn't look like church to you, okay? Did it look like church to you? Okay. But anyway, good morning to everybody. I hope that they find everybody well. And it's good to be on top of the ground, and the ground's not on top of us. Okay, if you go to their Facebook page, you'll see every day. Immigrant legally, and I agree with you. Why are Democrats against that? Well, because they have a different motive. The Democrats have a different motive, and I didn't realize that. If you let a bunch of people in the country, legal or not, they are counted in the census. And when you count people in the census, that tells you how much representation or how many representatives they get to have. So even if you're here illegally, when they count the census, it's got nothing to do with whether or not you got here legally or not. It's how many people are here. Because the census people don't go around and say, let me see your green card. They don't say that. They say, how many people live in your house? So then they get counted as occupants of your particular district, city, whatever the case may be. And so Democrats will still benefit whether or not they are legally here or not, because they will. And most people who immigrate over here listen to the junk. Now the working people who come over here will still work. They'll just work harder and become more productive than most people. But you come over here, you get to eat free, you get your SNAP card, you get help with your rent, you get all kinds of things. Now, who do you think they're going to? I mean, who do you think they're going to vote for? And they don't even have to. They don't even have to vote for you. To tell you the truth, they just get counted. They just get counted as being part of the as part of the census, and therefore they still make a difference in voting. Even if they do not vote, they make a difference in voting and how many people there are to vote for. So um, they still make a difference. I was interested in today's Daily Bread. Treat the stranger. I agree with that. I don't. I mean, I don't, hey, I ain't gonna fight with God, but I think that stranger also has to be willing to. That stranger has to be willing to come here and not try to change us and the cultures and the things we have. He's got to be willing to you know acclimate. Okay, as it were, they got to be willing to acclimate here and accept some of our cultural norms in this country. See, so my problem with that stranger, don't have a problem with the stranger. The problem is what that stranger wants to do. What he wants to bring to the table. Don't have a problem because everybody's a stranger someplace. Every culture has been a stranger someplace. Okay, uh, African. Well, I don't. Your guy let the white South Africans so they can be counted for the white race. Well, they are white. What's wrong with that? I mean, they are white. I mean, they're white people. Oh, at least that's the word we use for them anyway. They certainly, although all ethnically they are white, but they are still African. You know, so we just don't have a special name for them. What's that scripture? I'll figure out what it is in a minute. Well, look in your book. It says, "Look out for the stranger," and don't you know, just be mindful that you once were a stranger too. Which is, I don't know exactly what that is, but it's on our Daily Bread today. But I'll figure out what it is. All you can do with the computers and stuff you got, just go to Google and type in Bible verse that mentions the stranger, and you'll come up with a plethora of both of them. It's 8:03 in the morning, and do not forget. Now I got a lady that's coming on the show. Her name is Paula Sizemore Russick, and she is she deals with a soap. She has this kind of soap, which I bought it already too. She has a soap that she wants to introduce you to. So I'm gonna bring her on to the show real soon, and we're gonna talk to her about her soap. And I use it, and it lasts long. Like most of the time, I use my own soap. That soap gone in about a couple of uses, and it's over. And and they lying to us about soap too. You realize they're making the soap bars like this small now. They used to be like this big. Now they're not that big anymore. So it is it is. But I'm gonna bring her on. Her name's Paula, and she is going to explain to you why her soap is better for you. And you can get it over there. You can get it over there on Atlanta Highway at what's that? Beauty and Beyond. I think it's right on the corner of Taylor Road and Atlanta Highway. But it's good. I use it. It's made out of goat stuff and stuff like that. It's pretty good soap actually. But I'm going to bring her on and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So no sense me try. I'll show you who she is in a little bit as soon as I figure out how to get this thing out of my messenger thing here. Okay. But anyway, 8:30. The Mr. The probate judge supposed to pop into our virtual studio. We'll talk to him about some things going on down at the probate office, and I think he's going to have a announcement to make. Of course, it'll be made here first because the other places. Okay, so that's what we're going to do that. But again, I also want to tell you about One Stop Wireless. One Stop Wireless, located at 34. Okay, where's my thing at? 3445 Atlanta Highway. Okay, if you want a cell phone and you want to get it local, you don't want to have to put it go to Amazon for everything. You want to get something local. So when you call somebody, they speak English. This is great. Nothing wrong with people not speaking English, but we do. If I got to give you English money, I'd rather you American money. I'd rather you at least speak the language a little bit, a little bit. Because sometimes I call these people, and my Lord, I can't understand what they're saying. It's not their fault. They're not English, but that's what happens when you send all your businesses someplace else. But anyway, One Stop Wireless is a place on the corner of Atlanta Highway as well as Coliseum Boulevard. You can't miss them right there. They're right next to the Shell station. They're in the same building with the Shell station right there. And if you need a phone and internet, wireless internet in your house, they got a package in there. There's a setup fee, but after that, you pay, I think, $35 or $45 a month, and you can take that box with you no matter wherever you go. You got wireless internet in the house, and you don't even have to have cable companies come out there and run all this wire and all that stuff. Okay, I'm just saying you might want to go to them. So give them a call, 334-320-2988. That's 334-320-2988. Atlanta Highway, 3445 Atlanta Highway, right on the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum Boulevard. They also got they got a lot of other electronic stuff too in there that you might want to go by and see them and see. And they got the internet. They got those speakers that they like Wi-Fi Bluetooth speakers and stuff like that. And you don't have to you don't have to put them on to a cord. Anyway, it's can you put this anyway? They got a bunch of good stuff in there. Okay, I've been with them 10 years. Okay, I'm telling you, I've been absolutely pleased with the things that they are doing. Okay, so One Stop Wireless, 320-2988. Give them a call so I can stay on the air. Well, this ain't the air, but it's sort of like the air. I mean, it's like almost the air. Okay. Lessons of life today. Lessons of life today. What is the lesson of life today? Well, I'm going to tell you what it is because every day I put it on my Facebook page, but most of you guys probably don't even go to Facebook anyway. So the lessons of life today is this right here. And I think you'll understand when I read it. Okay. Lesson of life. Life and times are the best teachers. Life teaches us to value time. Time teaches us that there is no greater value than life. Okay. So just remember that as you go along your day, just remember that's what's going on. So it's called life and times are the best teachers. Life teaches us to value time. Time teaches us that there's no greater value than life. Okay. And that's to the ones who talk about is my body too. We want to go there. Anyway. So let me go on to other things that I'd studied yesterday. But I just wanted to thank Mr. Brock, Anthony Brock, for introducing us to some organizations that I did not even know were here. So again, is the glass half full? Is the glass half empty? Well, that's up for you to see. That's up for you to say. But I will say one thing: I do believe that the school systems the superintendent is probably one of the better ones that we've had in a long time. I mean, what's the name? He had too much swag, so he thought he was super fly. I ain't mad at the brother though. Don't get me wrong. I ain't jealous of him either. Okay. Also, there was another shooting. I think when is it? Was it Friday, November the 14th? I think that's when it was. Yeah, a young man lost his life. That's a shame. Also, yesterday we talked about how all these apartments are going up. Everything is going up, and everybody talking about it's no. They go up because they want to go up. They go up because they become investment pools and not places to live. They're investments. Apartment complexes now strictly become money things. They got nothing to do. They don't care whether you live. They don't care whether you die. They don't care whether or not you're outside. They just don't care. So and again, I'm almost listen. Can we put some rent controls in Montgomery? I'm gonna talk to the mayor about that. Okay, we need to put some rent controls in Montgomery. I know my conservative friends out there. No, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We need to do that, or else we have a bunch of old folks sitting outside. And I tell you know some other things why people are outside. Did you know that if you get caught at 16, 17 years old with a young girl, and y'all about the same age, and the mother and the father gets mad at you, they can have you arrested. And if they have you arrested, you become a sexual violator. And no matter how old you are, no matter how, I know a guy who's 42 years old that was dating a girl at 15. This was years ago, only 2 years younger than him, and he can't go to a regular apartment because something he did when he was 17 years old. 17, and he can't find a place to live. He can't work. You cannot work in certain jobs now if it's next to a daycare center. The guy was 17. He's 42 now, and they got him still make him put his name on a list. Well, how many young fellas like that out there? There are a bunch of young fellas out there like that, and they are making these people that got no place to stay. Our legislators are crazy as hell sometimes. Okay, every 17-year-old I know at some point tried to get them a little comeuppance. Okay, comeuppance. And 42 years, 1770, over 20 something years later, you still got his name. He still has to register as a civil criminal, whatever you call it. I don't know what the technical term they use. And so a lot of our young men are walking the streets right now because they did something a long, long time ago. And our legislative people who too busy worrying about things that don't matter, okay, like transgenderism and things of that crap, that we got these young men walking the streets of Montgomery and all over this country because now they can't get a place to stay. Our legislatures need to do something about this. 17, woman's 15, and just because the parents say, well, he tapped my daughter. Hey, your daughter's involved in that, okay? Unless you raped somebody, it wasn't rape. They was having a good time. But the boy gets, for the rest of his life, he gets to be considered a sexual predator. That is absolutely wrong. And a lot of these young men walking on the streets of Montgomery are of that vein. They can't get a place to stay because nobody, and you got to tell everybody, well, I'm on it. And then they put you, here's what they do. They put your name on a website. Now this happened, the guy was 17. He's 42 years old now. He was 17 and we're putting his name on a website like he out there doing things that he ought not do. At 17, everybody was trying to get some, except me. I couldn't talk nobody out of it. So, but I was trying, but my data may not allow me to tune into the entire show. Yeah. And the thing yesterday about the whole thing about Boyd, which is another one of those cases, we are the most hypocritical people on God's green earth. We are, and what we talk about the stranger, what was that about the stranger? We are some of the most hypocritical people. We got more church, and especially black folks. We got more churches in our communities than any other community in Montgomery, in America. We have made a sex offender. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Right. He's considered a sex offender. Okay. But it happened. He was 17. He was 15. Okay. They say 15, but right. I don't know, but they telling these kids now at 16, oh, you can have You can have an abortion. You can do all kinds of things at 16 years old. But this guy is 42 and can't get a job. And if you go to, he has to tell people that he's on the program. There is something fantastically wrong with that thing. At 17 years old, tell me a hot-blooded American young boy that wouldn't be trying to do something that he ain't got no business doing. Okay? Now, I couldn't talk nobody out of it till I was 20. But that's okay. They don't know how much they helped me out because I didn't have a whole bunch of babies all around the place. So I'm good. But anyway, is that fair? You need to call your representatives and tell them they need to do something about this law. So some of these people are walking the streets because they can't find a place to stay. They can't go to certain neighborhoods. They can't live next to a school. They can't do this. Something that happened, 30 years ago? 17, 27, 37, almost 30 years ago. And the girl, and in the state of Alabama, and here's what irks me. The state of Alabama will allow you to get married at 14 years old. Okay? People still don't know my story. This has nothing to do with underage. People allow me to. Okay, well, listen, you come on, you can tell your own story there, brother. Yeah, I got no problem with that. Listen, I think they screwed you, glued you, and tattooed you. I do. But these, these people, these God-fearing people out here, the ones who go to church on Sunday and swear them down, they believe in the good Lord, can't overlook a indiscretion. Okay, your homecoming date gave you a beat down, pretty much. Anyway, so I think that we got a lot of issues still, but we're hypocrites. We are hypocrites. Okay. Hey, listen there. Listen, Arande, I'd like to have that. If we can't give it to Boyd, give it to me, and I'll represent us. Okay. Yeah. Give us a give me because here's the thing about it. If you're gonna be on a board, a board that actually can do something, then you need people who are willing to speak against the norm. You need people who is going to really look out for these people, because most of us don't even know, and most of these boards mean absolutely nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. They have no power. I was on the Parks and Recreation Board. Absolutely nothing. We were advisors. Absolutely nothing. I was on the cemetery board. Everybody was dead, so I had nothing to do over there either. So we got these boards, but the housing board and the water board, two things that deal with life itself. We want to put our people we want to put there rather than people who will fight for those folks. And the public housing is a place, and you wonder why there's so much crime in public housing, because something needs to be done about the environment, and something needs to be done about the attitudes over there. Just because you live out there, just because you live in public housing, does not mean that when I walk inside your house, it looks just like the folks who live out there in Wind Lakes or Sturbridge. There's no reason in the world why you cannot keep your place. See, you can look the same outside, that's fine. But just because you live in public housing, it's not a place where we dump human beings. It is a place where we put human beings who can't seem to find housing in the other place. But it's up to you to determine how you live. It ain't where you live, it's how you live. Okay? Mike says the only difference between the Christians and the non-Christians is that the Christians go to church on Sunday. Yeah, you may have a point there. But anyway, what happened to city councilman? Well, nothing. They just turned Boyd down. And I think it's great. That man has fought for that community since I have been here 34 years, almost 35 years now. He was the first person I met that was, he fought the politicians, he fought people, he fought everybody. Okay, so did Alvin Holmes. Alvin Holmes would look out for folks too. And you didn't necessarily agree with the way he did it, but he did it. And you knew and guess what you knew? Everybody knew who Alvin Holmes was. And when things got rough, who'd they go to? They went to Alvin Holmes. And they know Alvin Holmes was going to try to do something. Even if he failed at doing it, he was going to do something. I used to get on him all the time. Okay. Now, when I got here, I think some years ago, we were talking about all the killings then. We were talking about all the killings then, to the point where I think Mr. Boyd took a casket down to the governor's house down on Dexter Avenue. And looked like we had a lot of caskets since then. Okay. But anyway, so much for that. Just thought I would tell you, we are waiting. Our probate judge is supposed to be here 8:30, and we're going to talk to him about a couple things. I think he's going to have they came out by the thousands. That's right. They did. And I still can't figure out why the city of Montgomery don't have anything called Martin Luther King. Why we don't have one street. We got a place on Highway 85 or 65, whatever, and it's called Martin Luther King. Wait a minute. It's like, it's so little that you don't even know you in it until you out of it. Okay? So I don't know. Down goes Boyd. Well, and again, you know, it's a tragedy if it's an inconvenience that happens to your neighbor, but if it's a tragedy if it happens to you. Again, I want somebody that is going to look out after those people, help those people change their attitude about where they live. Just because you live in a project or whatever they call them now, housing, doesn't mean you can't live like everybody else. You know, keep your house clean, put some decent furniture in it, or the furniture you have, you know, clean it. Okay? Call the police when you see people doing things around there they ain't got no business doing and things of that nature. It ain't about where you live, it's how you live. Because right now, you know, I would take me some public housing. The rent's cheaper. You know, I think I'm probably going to go in the old folks' home or something like that. Get me one of them nice apartments out there someplace, depending on what they're charging for them. I don't hear them say they give them away free. I haven't heard that. Anyway, the numbers here are 521. What's the numbers here? Oh, there it is right there. 521-2963. Yes, sir, Mr. Duke.
Now, Kevin, I tell you what, boy could have gotten a job.
Yeah. He ain't looking for a job. He ain't looking for a job.
Well, let me compare. Let me make it take away I'm going with this one. If he was in love with Trump, like these other people was in love with Trump and praised him, if he wanted a seat on Trump team somewhere, this stuff would have never came up, would it?
Well, that I don't know, but yeah.
What you mean you don't know?
I mean, that's what you say. So, you know, okay.
Who's running the military?
Who's running the military?
What's that guy's name? Hegseth. What's his name?
Hegseth.
Okay, was he accused of some sexual activity kind of stuff?
I never heard of that. I heard he had a drinking problem.
You ain't heard of that?
I heard he had
some women problem and stuff, and Trump got all kind of people with problems.
Well, that was the argument that
on his team.
That was the argument that I made. You know, that was an argument.
So, even the man himself.
Yeah.
We can Putin yesterday. On that thing yesterday, he still wiggling and like he got something to hide. Why does Trump acting like that, man? When he claimed he don't have anything to hide, my boy.
Well, what is he trying to hide?
Why is he wiggling Putin? And I'm talking about he very defensive. He's the only one.
Oh.
He didn't brought up. He didn't brought up Bill Clinton name and all these people names. Bill Clinton hadn't said anything. None of these people came out and said nothing. Trump the only one talking loud like he's gifted of something. Why is he acting like he's gifted of something like he's acting, man? Come on, talk to me, brother, man.
Let me get a word in. Now, what about when Obama said
you want to bang up? See, that's why that's the reason I kept talking because I knew you were gonna say, what about Biden? What about Obama? But damn it, we talking about the president time right here. Yesterday, you told me to stay out the past. Didn't you tell me to leave the past alone?
Yeah.
No, we talking about right now.
Yeah. Well, I ain't mad at Trump.
Let's talk about right now. Why Trump acting the way he acting?
How's he acting?
You see how he act every time that subject come up, he's blaming the Democrats, but his party the ones brought it up to start with. They said they're going to put it on the desk. Now he's turning on the Democrats because the Democrat got on board.
Yeah, but what subject are you talking about?
The Epstein stuff.
Oh, yeah, I don't care nothing about that.
You know what I was talking about.
Yeah,
you don't care nothing about it all over the news, and I know why you're trying to dodge it. I know why you're trying to dodge it.
Listen,
we both know why you're trying to dodge it.
If they find out that he was involved,
that's not what I asked you. I asked you why is he acting the way he's acting about it, Kevin. Answer that question.
All them folks in Washington D.C. knowing what's
going
on.
Kevin. Yeah, right. I'm asking you a question, sir.
I don't
why
care.
is Trump acting the way he claimed he hadn't done anything?
Okay.
Why is he acting the way he's acting? Answer that, please, for me.
And if they find out,
then you get your answers about Boyd.
Yeah,
you get your answer about Boyd. You answer that question for me.
Okay. Well, I don't care about the Epstein thing.
I asked you a question. Answer the question. Why do you think he asked? Between me and you, I'm asking you a question, Kevin.
Yeah, but
can you answer the question?
It's irrelevant,
Kevin. Kevin, I'm asking you a question. What is your opinion on why Trump acting the way he's acting?
Okay, man. Okay. You know, I don't normally tell people this. No. And Mr. White.
Have a good day, man. Have a good day, Kevin. You can't talk with me, can you? No. You can't answer a question with me because too intelligent for you, boy.
The problem is, like White said, my name may be on the list. Yeah, I don't want it to come out. Okay, I'm just saying, you know. Okay, because I know that one time when they heard you got the bread. No, I didn't. Trust me, my name may be on a lot of lists, but it ain't on the Epstein list, so we don't have to worry about that one. Not even a little bit. I can't even spell Epstein, as a matter of fact. Okay, it's 8:27, so I'm going to hopefully prepare for our JC Love, who's supposed to join us in the virtual studio at some point. What's it? Have you been trying what? You're trying to say Kevin is in the file? That's what he's trying to say. He think I'm in there. Okay. Okay. What say? I never saw Trump at Epstein Island when I was there fishing. Okay, let's see. Well, that clears it up right there. That clears it up right there that you know he wasn't there. Okay, and I don't care if he was there or not. And just if let's say he was there, well, he doesn't know that he may not have known what was going on. I mean, I don't know. Like when I go to the club, I throw my dollars up in the air, you know, trying to make it rain. That's what the Hawaiians say. Make it rain. Make it rain. So I'm out there putting my dollars up there in the air. You know, I'm not really paying attention to what's going on in the bathroom. I'm throwing the dollars up in the air. You know, just making it rain. I ain't know where the hell I sat there, go to a club and pay to get in, pay for the drinks, and then throw dollars all up in the air. I would never understand that kind of mentality unless you just got more money than you absolutely need. I can't understand. I can't understand that one. I just don't get that one. But anyway, I'm wasting a little time because I told the probate judge put the show up at 8:30 and it's almost 8:30 now. So we're going to talk to him. And tomorrow, one of the things that we want to talk about with my religious friend is the issue with Israel. Because it is an issue that silently, the whole Jewish situation thing has got people not knowing what they should say, what they shouldn't say. And I'm going to talk to my good friends because they're more learned in that area, of course, than I am. Are we, because the Bible says that Israel is God's chosen people. And so being that I believe in the good Lord and the good book and the Bible, but somebody brought up a question the other day. Since the New Testament came, are we still obligated to support are we still obligated to support Israel regardless? And I don't, that's an interesting question because I don't know. I mean, I do because they're God's chosen people. Okay. So let me see if I can find Mr. Love here. See if he can get in. Okay, you coming? Let me see. Okay. Okay, so I left him the link yesterday. Okay, so let me see if okay. The people who need to know that I didn't expect to be on the board. I thank Mr. Mitchell for considering me. Okay. Well, let me put this right here so y'all can read this right quick while I see if I can get Mr. Love on. Where Love at? Okay, let me see here. I'm trying to get him in. I'm trying to open the door for him. Let me see. STREAMYARD. Okay, I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. Let's see if I can find the probate judge. I'm seeing if I can find him somewhere out there. That's why I'm looking for him. Let me see. Where's my other thing that ain't here? I'm working on him. He may have lost the link, so I'm making sure he gets the link back so he can come on in. Because I know he wouldn't stand me up. Okay, so Yankee Delta 9. Okay, and Yankee Delta 9. Okay, Yankee Delta 9. Okay, let me see here now. What you want, Don?
That Duke, he's one. I think they call them low IQ voters. Tell me what Trump has done that. He said pass the bill. He said put it all out there, and he signed it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what's Duke talking about?
Well,
see, that's how Democrats play on ignorant minds like that. The innuendo and
hey, let me
like yesterday.
Wait, call me back. I got the judge right here. So call me back when I get done real quick. Okay. It's hard enough to get this guy as it is. So I certainly ain't gonna make him wait long. Good morning, Mr. JC Love. How you doing?
Good morning, Kelvin. Good to be on your show. We're being on here with the mayor of the airwaves. So thanks for having me on.
I am glad that you still realize that.
Well, it doesn't matter where you are. You still got an influence in this town, and so I'm just grateful for the invitation to be on the talk with you this morning.
Well, I appreciate it. You you've done something that the probate office has never done before. What is that?
Well, I guess as yesterday, one of the things we were able to get support for was to go and get the commission to sign up on the contract for us to bring kiosks here in order to do print-on-demand automobile tag renewal stickers. So we'll have initially 5 of these set up throughout Montgomery County at the different Publix grocery stores. We're looking at a location for West and South Montgomery. It'll probably end up being us have to, construct something to put a kiosk over there for the residents in South and West Montgomery. The company was trying to negotiate with Winn-Dixie, and then Winn-Dixie decided, I guess, Audi that bought Winn-Dixie decided they were going to close all their Winn-Dixie. So we're trying to find a way to get coverage over in South and West Montgomery, but they're going to initially be over in the Publix grocery stores, hopefully by March of 2026. And then we'll hopefully be able to also roll in some driver services. So driver's license renewals will also be at them as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, weren't you also trying to let people vote in schools?
No, what we had done is there initially used to be polling locations that were at the schools. Mm-hmm. But obviously the security concerns of having the general public in the same location as students. And so we've gone and pulled all of our locations out of our educational centers and put them into churches and other community centers for voting. But we do have voter registration kiosks where, if you're a college or university student, then you have one on campus. If you're in an MPS high school, then there's a kiosk there for you to register. So we won for the college students. There were a number of concerns, particularly during the larger elections, the gubernatorial and the national, that so many of these different groups, because those are well-funded campaigns, always promote voter registration on various social media platforms. And so, kids believe they sign up, register to vote, and then they show up to the polls that election day and they're not on the voting roll. So we wanted to try to put a safe and secure place that when they decide they want to vote, they enter the information and hit enter, then they're entered into, it goes to the Secretary of State, who makes sure that they can be on the voting rolls for that November. And then the high schools just trying to get this new generation that's about to enter the workforce really to understand the importance of voting, why it matters, because it's one thing for them, since they're very social media savvy, to talk about the issues and things that are important to you on various social media platforms, but to actually see it become policy, you have to go to the ballot box and vote.
One of our viewers asking, why did they close the Atlanta Highway probate office without a proper notice of the closing?
The office had to close. That, we were renting it from Faulkner. They decided they weren't going to renew our lease. And unfortunately it expired before the commission was able to find us another location. I know they had handled the notice of it through their communication shop, and it could have been better. We could have had a much larger rollout. And I had been pressing them for most of the past 2 years to really get ahead of it, because it's not something that surprised us. We knew it was coming. But there's been a lot of foot dragging that has caused us to get to this point. That was our larger office. So it serviced Pike Road through Atlanta Highway, even to northern Montgomery. So, unfortunately, there's a large section of the county that doesn't have access to our services. So people have to drive a little bit further, do things online. And hopefully, have to use these kiosks.
Let me ask you a question. And now you're probably going to disagree with me on this, but it won't be the first time. Why do we sometimes act like we can't get to the polls to vote? Why do we can get any place else we want to get to, but when it comes to voting, we want the government to bring the polling place to our house? Why is that?
Well, there are a number of reasons. I think for some people, they find there's a level of disenchantment because they hadn't seen any difference in their lives because they've gone and voted. So they're not really excited about voting. So a lot of people have gone and said, well, I voted and I vote, but I still see blight. I still see lack of economic development in my community. I still see crime. And a lack of attention from the city and the government. Some of it is that, the lack of contested races that you have locally. When you look at, the drivers in elections, it's going to be, if you got a contested president or contested gubernatorial race, that's going to bring the people out. Of contested mayoral race, that's going to drive higher turnout. And then it comes out to the campaigns. A lot of times people are going to either vote to support somebody or voting against somebody or voting against a particular issue. But there is a thing about, making it easier, for folks. And we've tried to do our part to try to get you in as quickly as possible. And as well as try to inform you that what's on the ballot and try to give you access to information so at least you can go to the polls informed.
Yeah. One of the things that I wonder about provisional voting, I show up at the polls. I don't have my name's not on the list for whatever reason or the case may be, but you allow me to do a provisional vote. Let's say we go back and find out, man, it was an accident on your part, but the election is over and that vote wasn't counted. What do we do about that?
Well, provisional ballots are, generally you have to cast those if there's a question regarding your voter status. Like you said, if you go to the polls and for some reason they don't have you on the voter roll, or there's a question regarding your voter status, they're going to give you a provisional ballot. And a provisional ballot just says, hey, there's a question regarding this voter status, and we need to go back and investigate the reason for why this voter had to cast this. So after the election, there's a week period where the Board of Registrars goes back and investigates the reasons for these provisional ballots. So they go back and see, why wasn't JC listed on the voting rolls and what's going on with it. And then when we come back the following Tuesday at noon to certify the votes, they come back with a report and they'll say, based upon our investigation, out of this box, we had 20 provisional ballots cast. We're going to go ahead and count, 5 of them. And you ask them the reasons for the other ones, they can go ahead and tell you, well, this guy wasn't registered in the state, or he voted out of precinct. And that's been one of the large issues that we've seen in elections where people hadn't had their votes counted, is because, because they may have gone to the precinct, some people, because redistricting, precinct boundary lines change, and you may have voted at one place and now you vote at another place, and you don't want to go to the other place, and you're like, I've always voted here, I don't want to go over there and vote. They'll let you vote provisionally, but then when they go back and investigate, it's going to come out that you voted out of precinct, that you were supposed to go ahead and vote at another polling place. And so then your vote doesn't count. And I'll say that that's one of the reasons we discovered the issues at Alabama State and really went with the kiosk, because we had about 500 Alabama State students who showed up to vote in the 2020 election, and they weren't on the voting rolls. And so when the Board of Registrars went back and investigated and found out why these students who thought they were voted weren't on the voting rolls, actually they found out that these different groups had been promoting voter registration on social media platforms, and they had gone and registered, and that information was not transmitted back to the Secretary of State's office for them to be in the voting roll. So that's when we said, all right, we don't have to worry about, the reliability of these other groups. You don't have to worry about if you do a paper form, because there's a group doing voter registration outside of the cafeteria or the student center, and them mailing the form back, that you can go to one of the kiosks, enter your information, do it yourself, and ensure that you'll be on the voting rolls.
Every citizen that is born in the United States has a social security number. Why can't we do this online with our social security number being that identification? And even if somebody else is using it, you still only get to use it one time.
Well, you look at that there's not a reliability factor using that. You've got it rife with folks who are now, sometimes just not too long ago, I paid for something online because that's what they're doing for my kid's school. And then a day later, I get an email saying that they had a security breach, and, your information may have been compromised, and give me your free year of credit monitoring. So that's the same way that if it's all online, then you can't really tell that it's actually JC that's going to the polls and voting. All they know is that someone entered in JC's information, whether it be a date of birth, social security number. And if you got someone who's a bad actor that's really trying to influence really a national election or something, and you just go on and got you a batch of social security numbers, then you can go ahead and miscast votes. And if I go through legitimately and try to register, then it's like, well, it's showing that you already came out there and voted for candidate X, and you wanted to vote for candidate Y. So that's probably one of the things. But you also have to look at, a lot of times when these laws were done, technology is kind of outpaced where things are, and it may be something that, they'll look at in the future. But I don't know, no state at this point in time has even broached that. But I think just the reliability of it and being able to make sure that it's not going to be subject to people, bad actors, has really kind of kept it from really progressing.
Hmm. Now let's talk about something very important. That I was in your office a couple of months ago, whenever that was, and we were
Yes.
talking about this home buying situation where people can actually go online and initiate a sale of your house, or some other takeover. Tell me a little bit about that and how the people can protect themselves from those kinds of things.
Well, what you're talking about is property title fraud, and that's, according to the FBI, one of the fastest growing areas of fraud here in the country. And that's when someone creates a fraudulent instrument to order to steal your property. And the thing about this type of fraud is everyone's, deed is all public record. You can go into our office, any probate office in the state, or any records recording office throughout this country, and look up who owns property by name, email, name, address. And in the information that the thieves need to perpetuate this type of fraud is readily available. They know the name of the person who owns it. They've got the property title language, the whole, 30 feet north, turn right at the pin, another 128 feet, that legal property description. And one thing that people don't realize in Alabama is that deeds are not required to be notarized. So they can forge your name, make up the names of two witnesses, and then if they bring it to my office or any probate office here in the state, then we've got to record that document. And just like that, your property can be stolen. And so we've seen an increase of people trying to do that type of fraud. And so one of the ways that we tried to do is to try to protect homeowners was at least create an alert system. That's as far as we could go under current law, was to alert people that there's been something filed against their property. And so our REACT program, that stands for our Real Estate Activity Alert and Contact Tool, is that program. So it's free, easy to sign up for. If you go to www.reaactnow.com and ask you to enter your name, email address, send you your confirmation email, and like that, you're registered. So anytime any type of document or deed is filed against any property owned in Montgomery County, that within 24 hours, you're going to receive an alert saying that, you signed up for this program, you're receiving this because something's been filed against property you own, and giving you a copy of what's been filed, just so you can try to go and take immediate action. So hopefully, if it's in the city, report it to MPD. If it's in the county, report to the sheriff. So hopefully they can prevent them from taking further action. And the other part about it is you're victimized twice, because it's not enough. You can't come to me, Kevin, and say, well, Judge, I've been a victim of this type of fraud. Can you take this? This is my signature. This is what they signed. I didn't deed this over to John Doe. Can you take it out of your records? And I can only remove it out of our files once it's been filed with a court order from a circuit court judge. So if you've been a victim, then chances are you're going to have to go to circuit court, possibly hire an attorney in order to get that fraudulent deed set aside, so you can go ahead and regain ownership of your property.
Let me ask you something, and I'm not going to put you on the hot seat here, but you are the custodian of those records. Yes. Why in the world can't we hold you guys responsible for any of that fraudulent activity? You guys are the custodians of it. You it's in your office or online, whatever the case may be. You should have the security checks in your networking system there to make sure that anybody just can't get it. Why shouldn't you be held accountable?
Well, we go and review the documents. So it has Kevin Elkins on it, and it says that you issued a quitclaim deed to deed your interest over your property over to, John Doe, and it has a signature that it says from Kevin Elkins, and it's witnessed by two people. Then we've got to record it. So the law doesn't allow us to go back and hold it up and not process it and call you and say, hey, Kevin, hey, we got this deed down here that just came in. Are you really trying to deed your property over to John Doe? So, and just that, and just the manpower and the volume of documents that we handle. And as well as when many of these documents come in, particularly when you're dealing with these mortgages, you've got these title companies that are coming in trying to go and research these transactions. So things have to be done in a very, very timely manner. So, yes, we're the custodians of them. We go ahead and docket it in, give it a book and page number so people can go ahead and look it up and try to process them as quickly as we can so they're current out there for people to view. But, the law doesn't allow it to do it, because if we did do that, then someone could go ahead and say that Judge Love has a higher burden than any other county in this state, that now before he files it, he has to call and verify. So I'm being treated unfairly on that, and that's an unfair burden that's not necessarily specified by the law. The law doesn't require him to go and check and verify with Kevin whether or not he actually executed this quitclaim deed. All the law requires that if a document comes in, bears the signature of Kevin Elkins, has the proper property title description language and 2 witnesses, then it's due to be recorded, then I'll lose up there in court.
Wow. Okay. So let me, so people like me will understand what you're saying. Right now, as it sits right now, somebody can fraudulently quitclaim your property. They can come to your office. They can pretty much take ownership of your property without you knowing it.
Yes. And that's why we've been really out trying to promote this REACT program, to let people know so we can get the authorities involved to try to go ahead and get them, because people's home is their most valuable asset that they have. And that's the issue with this type of fraud. If you don't sign up for this type of program, is because often with this type of fraud, you don't know you've been a victim until much later down the road. You are trying to sell or trying to refinance, and they come back and say that you don't own it. You may look and say, I didn't get my property, tax bill for this year, and find out that it's been sent to another address. Or they may have taken your property, got a mortgage on it, and disappeared. And now you've got a mortgage company saying they're about to foreclose on your home. And that's what happened in one of the instances over in Georgia, that when the case is out earlier this year was of a 73-year-old man who went to jail, that he was a victim of the home. He didn't realize it had been mortgaged. The home was sold on the courthouse steps. Somebody bought it. And when that person came to take ownership, he refused to leave his home, and the sheriffs arrested him.
See, that's the part, and that's the part that I do not understand. How come you guys, the probate judge, is not responsible for that? Because you are the custodians of those records. You let it happen. So
we didn't let anything. Well, it came in with like I said, it came in the form that the law requires. That it came in with, the bearing a signature. We don't have the resources to go ahead, or the manpower to hold up every deed that gets filed. We're probably the 4th largest county here in this state in transaction close, to go up here and have a handwriting expert to go up there and say, well, pull out this original deed and check and make sure that this matches specifically with Kevin Elkins, and verify who the witnesses are, that they were there and present when this person named Kevin Elkins signed this document.
But why not put something? But why not put something in place that said you must make personal contact with anybody who comes in with a deed, say they bought your deed? I mean, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen, that we working 24 hours a day trying to make a living, and other people can come in your office and take ownership of our property. That's crazy.
Well, that's one of the things that, this type of fraud outpaced where our laws were. And so I'll tell you that they're probably going to be about at least 6 to probably a dozen bills that are going to be introduced up in January to really address this issue, from requiring deeds in Alabama to be notarized, because at least at that point in time, you've got a neutral third party who's supposed to verify people's identities.
Okay.
To be able to say that, all right, I saw Kevin Elkins, he showed me his ID, here's the driver's license number and information,
Right,
here's the
right.
same information from his witnesses. Also requiring, requiring people when they come through and file, and also show identification. So at least when this issue, if it comes up, then at least you got a person to say, well, I seem like I've got a Kevin Elkins who came in with this ID. that came and presented and tried to record these documents. But I think also, another issue, part of this whole fraud piece, how it goes, is that there's also an issue with online with your Zillows and Realtor.coms.
Right.
Because on those sites, they also don't require you to show proof of ownership. And so
Wow.
all they do is require you to open an account and start posting pictures of property. They don't verify that you own it. And so that's also been an issue with fraud. Because, I myself have been a victim of that, that someone that came and had posted our house, and I got a call from someone saying, tell judge that his house is being listed for sale up here on Zillow. So it's just, and that's something else that I know they've really been working with the realtors on. I think there'll be some legislation on that, and probably more specific to Alabama, requiring people to look at showing proof of ownership that they own properties before they're allowed to go ahead and post them to sale. But, talking to some of the closing attorneys, they've said that they have been about to wire funds. So they've gone and executed documents about to go ahead and send money off to pay off mortgages and all that. And someone's called and said, hey, y'all listing my house for sale and it's not for sale.
Okay.
And,
it's a big problem. And I hope the legislature, this is something that should have been taken care of a long time ago.
And that's why we were pushing it out here, in other states like next door in Georgia, it's real bad. And we were really trying to be proactive here in Montgomery County and Alabama.
Yeah. What's that website that you said?
www.reactnow.com.
Okay, so what happened to you? I lost him. All right then. Well, I didn't mean to lose him. What happened to him? Hey, we didn't mean to lose you there. JC. Okay. Well, somehow I lost him. All right then. Well, we lost him. There he is right there. There you go.
For a second. Sorry about that.
Yes,
I knocked myself off.
Okay.
But yes, www.reactnow.com. And like I said, it's a free program. Allow you to enter your name, email address, then you'll hit submit. It'll send you a confirmation email. And then once you hit confirm, you're enrolled. And the same thing, if you own property through a corporation or through a trust, you can still sign up, put the name of the entity, email address, and then hit confirm. And the other part about it is that now, the Alabama Securities Commission, they've identified funds to help take this, REACT program to all the remaining 67 counties. So to try to have something that's going to protect people statewide, in addition to the legislation that's going to be proposed in this upcoming session. So I think that we'll have some more protections for homeowners out here through it. But is this type, I think when our real estate laws were created 7,500 years ago, people didn't anticipate that folks would be dishonorable by creating these fraudulent instruments to steal people's property. But it's something that they're doing.
Okay. So just to be clear, your department has no responsibility in that. So the best thing they can do is go to this www.reactnow.com and make sure that they are in line to get notified if there's a movement to engage their property.
Well, I'm going to say, we have a responsibility to maintain accurate records, but we don't have any legal authority to withhold someone from recording an instrument that's in proper form. So I can't go and say, well, I can't accept this for you to go ahead and file this document until I go ahead and check and make sure that, that Kevin Elkins is the one who actually issued this. Like I said, we're getting, hundreds of documents a day that are coming in, e-filing, documents that are being e-filing. So it would be humanly impossible in order to make sure we had accurate records to call and verify and track down everyone before we began recording these documents. We'd have a month backload of deeds that hadn't been recorded. And sometimes with these transactions, they've gone and done this. They're going to go ahead and either refinance and do that, and they can't proceed with that as saying, because they're going to say, we can't find the deed that you just signed back here in November in the records, and it's January, because we're still trying to call and verify who's done it. And so
what
the law doesn't require us not to, if it comes in, we've got to record it. But we want to make sure we protect people by having this program where people can sign up for it. And if something that is untoward happens, then they know immediately, and oftentimes it says 24 hours, but the notifications come really within the first hour that you're going to be notified that something's been filed.
Okay.
And, and we've got some updates that we're working on it. So some people say now, I don't do email, I want text message. And we do have some residents that don't like email, they don't do text message. So we're trying to work that they can get their notifications via mail. So we want to have something that everyone here in Montgomery County can use and take advantage of, and not allow them having access to an email address be a barrier for them to be able to participate.
Okay. Listen, our time is up. There's a whole bunch of questions that people wanted me to ask you, but we're going to hold that off.
Well, that just means I have to come back on and talk to you in the future.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Judge, thank you for coming on and taking time out your busy day, because I know you're a busy man up there. And tell the mister we need to talk to her too about that business she's running, so we can get some information.
All right, I'll tell her to go ahead and get on with you. We'll get that scheduled. All right, thank you.
Bye. All right then. Now, if you guys wondering why I didn't get into the mayoral thing, because he said he hadn't made his mind up yet, so no sense in talking about that now. Okay. Anyway, well, listen, man, my time is up. I saw somebody making a lot of I saw a lot of people these days making all kind of allegations. I'm not gonna y'all could call them up and ask them some of them questions. I mean, I'll let you put it on the board, but I know him pretty well, and I don't think that he's some of them things y'all be calling the brother. Okay. But anyway, we should we will get him again later on in the process here. Especially we got that other thing don't happen for another year, so no sense in getting to that right now. Anyway, so my time is up for this morning. We do appreciate you guys joining us, and JC Love joined. I'll replay this later on today, and we can later on tonight and something we can rehash the show. Also want to thank hey, I didn't do too bad on reading the editorial by Anthony Brock. So yeah, I made the text real big on the screen so I could see it. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, my time is up. I thank you for yours. We shall see tomorrow. The good Lord says the same. Just remember, it is not the falling down that gives us the strength. It is the getting up each and every time we do that gives us that strength. All I can tell you is that keep getting up. You will fall. You will fail. But you never quit. We'll see you later. Bye now.
Grateful heart with such sweet ease.